Okay, let's continue with powers. So remember, when we're dividing, we're going to use the quotient rule. When we're multiplying, the product rule, and the power to a power, we multiply. So we have no like variables on in the numerator. And so we're simply just going to divide 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then we have x to the 5th divided by x to the 1st is x to the 4th. And then y to the 4th, 7 minus 3. On 26, this is multiplying, so we're going to use the product rule. So we have 2, and then we're going to combine these two x bases and give us x to the 10, and then our y, our two y bases, gives us y to the 4th. On 27, we're doing a power to a power. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 factors, so each of those has their own exponent. So when it's not written in, I'll go ahead and write it in. And we're going to multiply this outside exponent to all of these exponents. So we have 2 to the 3rd, a to the 3rd, over 3 to the 3rd, and b to the 6th. When we multiply 2 to the 3rd, we get 8. So 8a to the 3rd, and 3 to the 3rd is 27, b to the 6th. Okay, let's move along. Number 28. This time we have y's being multiplied and then x has been multiplied, so we're going to apply the product rule, but we're going to go ahead and divide 8 divided by 2. So we get 4, and then along with that 4, we have y to the negative 4th, and in the denominator, the 2's already been simplified. So we get x to the, and we're adding, and then now we need to move that y factor to the denominator to make it have a positive exponent. 29. We have negative 2, and the negative is not part of the exponent, so it's negative 2 squared, which is 4. We're going to use the product rule here and get x squared, and we're going to use the product rule with the y's and get y to the negative 1. We have negative 4 times x squared, and this factor has a negative exponent, so we're going to reciprocate that to the denominator. Number 30, I'm going to write in all my understood exponents. We have negative 4, and 2 times 1 is 2, and then we have m, and we have 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. I just realized I probably should have combined the m's first like I normally do, but that's okay. And then we have 2 times this one, so we have 2 squared, and then we have m to the 4th. So once I multiply this 2 times each of these, then we need to simplify. Now I'm going to keep this as having parentheses because it's just studying. If I write this out 2 times, it would end up being negative 4 times negative 4. So we do need to keep that parentheses. I was just thinking that through. Okay, so now let's simplify. So here, negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. And then we have an m, and it's negative 4 minus 4. That's going to give us negative 8. And then in our denominator, 2 squared is 4. So now we can simplify 16 over 4, and we need to simplify this negative exponent. So 4 goes into 16 4 times, and then we're going to reciprocate the m factor and make it positive 8. So I just had to think that through right quick. Because remember, what this really means is I have 2 of these terms being multiplied. Okay, here. Let's combine anything first. So nothing can be combined using the product rule, but in the denominator, we can go ahead and combine the x's. We can go ahead and combine 8 over 12, or simplify, I should say. So that has a factor of 4. So we're going to have 2 over 3. And then we have x to the 3rd, y to the negative 1. And I'm going to use the product rule here and say x to the 4th over y to the 1st. Now we can use the quotient rule. So we have x and a y, so it's 3 minus 4 gives me -1, and then I have -1 minus 1, that gives us -2. So the variables will reciprocate there. Okay, we have negative and then 4 to the third, so that's going to be negative, and then 4 to the third is 4 times 4 times 4. That gives us 64. Using our product rule, we have c to the 0, and then we have d to the -3rd. So a couple of things here. C to the 0 is just 1, and then 1 times -64 is just -64. And we're going to reciprocate our factor of d to the denominator. Okay, on this one, I'm going to first do what I did not do up here, and I'm going to go ahead and combine these m's. So I'm going to have -5, and then I have my m, and it's 2 minus -3, which gives me a +5. And in the denominator, I'm going to go ahead and say 2 squared is 4, all raised to the -2. So this has an exponent and this has an exponent as well. So when I distribute this -2 to each of the exponents, I'm going to have -5 raised to the -2 times m to the -10th over 4 to the -2. So I'm going to go ahead and reciprocate and bring everything in the numerator to the denominator. And I can go ahead and multiply that out. That's going to give me +25, m to the +10. And then when I reciprocate 4 to the -2, it becomes 16 in my numerator. Okay, for now, we're going to skip rational and irrational. We will come to that after we take our exam. So do not mark through this, but we will come back to it later.